Hello, dear students. Once again, welcome to the video lecture, which will be giving you a different perspective of the plant ecology. Actually, this kind of a study will be clarifying study for you all regarding the levels of the studies in the ecology. What kind of different levels of the studies are there in the ecology to understand the complete environment? And that's why I'm here to discuss with you people regarding the population ecology. And before going to deal with the population ecology, let me go back to the study of ecology first. And that ecological studies are nothing but the studies of interrelationships between the biotic and abiotic factors. This definition, which we have already discussed in the previous lectures, should be recollected in minds of all of you. So, uh, let me recollect the definition once again. Ecology is the study of interrelationships between the living and non-living components of the environment. And in this case, the study itself will be conducted at the different levels. What kind of different levels they are? That levels are nothing but the study of the environment with respect to an individual species. Say, for example, if we are studying the single individual with its entire interrelationships, that will be called as the aut ecology. AUT, aut. Aut ecology will be the study of individual. You should underline this statement. Aut ecology is the study of individual organism for its variety of the characteristic features. Secondly, at the higher level of the studies wherein we used to study in groups, that will be called as the syn ecology. SYN ecology. Syn ecology. In case of syn ecology, you will not focus on individual organism. You need to understand that in case of syn ecology, you have to study the group of organisms. And if that group of organisms belongs to the same species, it will be called as the population ecology. Let me repeat once again that if your study is focused on number of individuals from the same species, this will be called as the population ecology. For example, if there is the study of human population and that population with respect to the environmental conditions, social conditions, economical conditions of that particular area, then it is called as the population studies. Now, as far as the population term itself is considered or concerned, then population is the group of individuals from the same species. Means population of human beings, population of deers, population of dogs, population of butterfly, population of rat, individual species and its other individuals. This will be called as the population ecology. Whereas if we go on the next level, then it will be called as the community ecology. In case of community ecology, you have to study the relationships between the organisms of different species in particular area. Mind well, in case of population ecology and the community ecology, we are focusing on a specific area. Only the difference is in case of population ecology, we are studying the individuals of the same species. In case of community ecology, we have to focus on the groups of the species belonging to the different species. So I think that this concept will be clear to you now. Let me move on to the next level, and that is the ecosystem ecology. In case of ecosystem ecology, we need to study different communities. This means that this ecosystem ecology will bring the entire environment into the consideration, and therefore this kind of studies are at the highest level of studies in case of the ecology. Say, for example, here it is having the mention on your screen, ecosystem, that is special ecosystem, desert ecosystem, or freshwater ecosystem, or forest ecosystem, or pond ecosystem. Likewise, you can see if you are studying the desert ecosystem, then definitely you have to go with all the kinds of animals, plants present in that particular area, and the climatic conditions of that area, geographical conditions of that area, edaphic conditions of that area, all the factors which are influencing the lives of the area. So this will be kind of a studies in the ecosystem, wherein one more key component coming into play, that is the energy. Basically, ecosystem has the two components, that is the biotic and abiotic components. Only the thing is, you need to focus on to the energy dynamics of the biotic and the abiotic components if you are dealing with the study of the ecosystem. So this ecosystem will be going to the top level of study when it will be a study of a biosphere. Biosphere means this is the study of complete planet. It means that this planet will be one ecosystem wherein you will integrate variety of the ecosystems together. So this will be the final level of the studies in case of the ecology. Dear student friends, here in this case, you will find that these ecology and environment are the terms which are exchangeably used by the students and teachers even. But the thing is, ecology is the specific word dealing with the branch of study wherein you will study the environmental things. But environment itself is not the ecology. Environmental studies will be there in the ecology. So therefore, environment will be the particular confined area, or better way it will be referred as the habitat, whereas ecology is study of that habitat with respect to the organisms present in that, with respect to the energy dynamics, with respect to the climatic conditions on and all the characteristic features. So I think that ecology and environment is now the concepts which are clear to you. Here this is the diagram which will be depicting you regarding the studies at different levels. Here in this case, let me magnify the image for you people. See the study of individual. It is called as the individual study, means horticulture. If this is the study of the same individuals belonging to the same species but in a group, that will be called as the population ecology. And when this comes to the higher level, then this particular animal species will be studied for its interaction with the other animals, other plants, and entire environment. If it is considering, then it will be a ecosystem. And finally, it will be the study of the biome. So dear student friends, this is the very good informative picture wherein you will find that all the levels of the studies in the ecology are there. Now, let me come to the different parameters which we need to focus into the studies of the ecology. Now, as far as this diagram is considered, here organism will be in the center. Okay. Now, as far as this study of the organism, elephant is concerned, we need to study the body system of the elephant, organ system of the elephant, to the finest level tissue system of the elephant, and more to the finer level cellular system of the elephant, and molecules present in the elephant. So how fine studies have gone, you can see here, right from the atom to the molecule, to the cell, to the tissue, to the organ, to the complete body system, which will be forming the organism. Now, if this organism, elephant, is studied for the individuals of the same species, it will be called as the population ecology. And if that elephant is studied along with the giraffes, deers, tiger, bison, all the other animals together and plants together, then it will be called as the community ecology. And if the energy dynamics will be under study, then it will be a study of ecosystem. And finally, the biosphere. So coming from the atom to the biosphere, a single rounded shaped atom to the rounded shaped planet. This is the study of ecology at different levels. So I think that here you will be having the clear understanding regarding the levels of the studies in case of the ecology. Now coming to the population ecology as the first level. And in case of population ecology, we will have to study from the individual organism study, and that will be called as the horticology, wherein we will focus on to the single individual. Okay. Now, as far as the study of the organism is considered, that study will be depending on two components. They are the biotic factors and the abiotic factors. In case of biotic factors, these factors will be the complete living organisms in that particular area, wherein the plants, animals, microbes are concerned. But if it is the population ecology, then definitely in case of this population ecology, your study will be of one individual species and its interaction with the abiotic factors like the sunlight, nutrient contents, then temperature, soil profile, water conditions. All these conditions will be the abiotic conditions, and these together will form the basis of the study of population ecology. Now let me move on to the study of the population. This study of the population will be at the two different populations. Which are these two different population? One population is called as the unitary population, wherein this population will be the population of one organism to the one organism. Means this is the population which will be propagated through the sexual reproduction, and in case of that sexual reproduction, there will be birth of the single child at the end of the reproduction. One or two or three individuals, not the individuals in the thousands. Whereas in case of the modular population, in those modular populations, there will be thousands of the progenies coming after one generation. Thousands of the individuals coming out of the propagation. Like in case of the plant propagation, you will find that a single seed is giving a birth to the single plant, but that single plant is giving thousands of the seeds, which will be giving you thousands of the plants. So that will be called as the modular population. If one mammal, one elephant is propagating, one sheep is propagating, one bull is propagating, then definitely that will be not such huge population, and such populations are called as the unitary population. Now, here you can see the changes, wherein unitary organism is the elephant, whereas modular organism is the fungal organism, wherein millions of the spores will be liberated in one instance. So, let me come to the level of understanding wherein we will have to focus at the individual level, and in case of that individual level, what the things which we have to study? First, we have to study the individual organism for its physiological conditions, morphological conditions, anatomical conditions. At the second level, that individual of the same species will be studied for its reproduction and interaction between themselves. Interactions between the individuals of the same species. And in case of the further studies, you will study what kind of protein synthesis is there, what kind of photosynthetic efficiency is there, what kind of expressions of the genes are there in that particular population, what sort of impact of the climatic conditions, environmental conditions are there in the reproduction cycle or protein synthesis cycle or the photosynthetic cycle. So overall, this will be study of that particular plant for its complete cycle of the life, from birth to the genesis of the new organism, what kind of changes that individual organism will see in a group, that will be called as the population ecology. Now, this population ecology will have these different branches or these different aspects which will be considered in the studies. In case of population ecology, very firstly, we have to focus on the population genetics, population physiology, then system ecology, wherein the organ systems of the particular organism will be studied. Landscape ecology will give you an idea about the terrain or the habitat. And when these all will be under study, this will be called as the population ecology. And when we lift to the second level, it will be starting the community ecology, wherein this complete population of one organism will be one unit in case of the community ecology. So dear students, these are the very important terms which you have to understand. That first is the population, which is an interbreeding group of individuals of the single species that occupy the same general area. Here you have to think of three things together. One, interbreeding means they are the individuals of the same species. Second, they are occupying the same area. एकाच एरियातल्या इंडिव्हिज्युअल्सच्या बाबतीतला स्टडी आहे पॉप्युलेशन इकॉलॉजी मधला. मीन्स पॉप्युलेशन इकॉलॉजिकल आस्पेक्ट्स विल बी डिफरंट फ्रॉम वन एरिया टू द अदर एरिया. Whereas community will be the assemblage of the interacting populations. They are not the interbreeding populations. Look at these two terms. Interbreeding are the population. Interacting populations is in the community ecology, which again inhabits in the same area. Area is confined. And ecosystem will be quite wider term. So these are the three terms which we have already discussed. Now let me come to the population studies. In case of population ecology, what sort of studies we need to conduct? For individual studies, what we will study? For individuals, we will study its age structure, how much is the maximum life of the organism, means it is for one individual. What sort of stages it will have, it means up to what age it will be in vegetative state, after what particular age it will enter into the sexual stage, what exactly is the size of that organism, what kind of sexes are there in that individual, and how that individual behaves. So age, stage, size, sex and behavior will be studied for one individual. And now if we are coming to the population, first part, it is the art ecology. This particular part will be the art ecology. And if we are moving on to the population ecology, then in case of the population ecology, parameters are quite different. It will be the study of entire number of individuals from that same species, and what is the age distribution, means 100 individuals are there, and amongst those 100 individuals, what is the average age of that group, or what is the maximum age of that group, or what is the minimum age of that group, what is the sex ratio in that population, how many males and females are there in that particular group, and the spatial distribution in that particular area. Whether the organism is confined to the boundaries, or whether the organisms are residing into the center of that particular area, or whether they are distributed equally in the area. So this is called as the spatial distribution. So this kind of studies will be there in the population ecology, wherein individual processes which will be under studies are development, growth, feeding, reproduction and the death. Whereas the processes, if we found in the groups, then definitely in case of groups, the population studies will be giving you the group studies of the same individual, of course. So these are the parameters which we need to study in the population ecology. Now, what are the different characteristics of the population? Very first characteristic of the population, that population has a specific size and density. Size and density means what? A particular area, we always used to refer in every definition that it is the study of a specific area. That means if it is the area of 1 acre, and in that 1 acre of area, thousand plants are planted. So what exactly is the density? 1000 plants per acre. That will be size of the population. Pattern of dispersion. Pattern of dispersion means how these plants are planted into that 1 acre area. Whether those plants are planted at the boundaries, whether those plants are planted at irregular intervals, or whether those plants are just the seeds have thrown into the area and they have emerged out. Likewise, there may be different kinds of the patterns of the dispersion. Then age structure of the population, maximum age, minimum age, average age of the population. Natality means the birth rate, mortality means the death rate. Natality, mortality are the two very important parameters. And finally, population growth and its dispersal, along with the complete biotic and the abiotic regulations. So these are the complete biotic potential of the population, wherein these all parameters must taken into consideration. So let me study the distribution first. Population distribution is giving an idea about the accumulation of the species in the particular area or survival of the species in the particular area. So this is the special relationships of individual organisms to one another, and therefore they will be confined to the specific area as far as the nutrient contents are there, or as far as their reproductive favorable area is concerned. So they may be focused or they may be accumulated to one area. Population density means these are the number of individuals per unit area or unit volume. As I have already told you, 1000 plants per acre is the population density, giving you the idea about the population density. What are the primary factors of the population? Population size will be determined by these factors, definitely. Now, what are these factors? Natality means what? Natality means this is the addition of the organisms to the population. No doubt, this is the birth rate of the population. So definitely this will add the number into the population. Whereas mortality will be the loss of organisms from the population due to death. Definitely it will decrease the population density. Death. Then immigration. Look at the spelling of this immigration. Huh? Immigration, it is the addition of organisms from the different areas to this area. So some of the organisms from the same species are coming to this area from the other population, other area. This is called as the immigration. Emigration, EMI. Emigration is the movement of the organisms from this area to the other area. This means that the population density of the area from where the movement of the organisms will be there, that will be having the loss of the organisms. So overall we can say that this natality and mortality are similar terms which will be giving you similar idea about the immigration and emigration. Look at this picture wherein you will see the clear image. Immigration, this is the branch on which the sparrow population is developing. In case of the birth, this sparrow is giving birth and adding the individuals to the population. Similarly, from the other areas, immigrants are coming to this branch. This is the area under consideration. Now, as far as the reduction in the population size is concerned, emigration is moving of the individuals from this branch to the other branch. Secondly, if some of the individuals from this population are consumed or they become prey for this predator, then definitely they will go off from this branch. So overall, we can say that addition will be from the birth and immigration, whereas deletion of the individuals from the population will be from the emigration, a EMIN, emigration or the death of the individuals by any means, death. So this is controlling the population size. Now let me understand natality in bit detail. Natality is regulating the population size, and the addition of the new individuals may be through different ways, like as in case of human beings we are giving birth to the new child. In case of the oviparous organisms, they are giving eggs, and that eggs hatching will be giving in rise to the new organisms. In case of the plants, germination is the way in which birth will be there, or simply in case of prokaryotic organisms, cell division is the way in which new individual cells will be coming into the population. We can understand with the bacterial population on a Petri plate. So the cell division will be giving rise to the new individuals. So the addition or the number of offsprings produced per female per unit time is known as the rate of natality. I'm repeating the definition. It is the number of offsprings produced per female per unit time is known as the rate of natality of a specific area, of course. म्हणजे एका फिमेल पासना किती मुलांचा जन्म होऊ शकतो, इट इज द रेट ऑफ natality. Now this natality, it has the two terms. First, it is the absolute natality, that is called as the fecundity rate. I am reading this definition for you. Fecundity rate means maximum offsprings produced under most suitable environmental conditions per female. So in case of the most favorable suitable conditions, what will be the maximum number of offsprings produced by the female? It is called as the absolute natality, maximum natality, fecundity rate. Or in case of the other way, it is called as the ecological natality or the fertility rate. This refers to the number of offsprings produced per female under prevailing environmental conditions. Prevailing in the environmental conditions means this will be varied. Na? If the favorable conditions are there, then definitely the number of individuals added will be maximum. Whereas in case of this situation which are dynamic one, that may be lesser number of individuals. So what exactly is the number of individuals controlled by the environment? That is called as the ecological natality. It is called as the fertility rate. So these are the two terms which you have to keep in your mind. Now mortality. As we have already said, mortality rate is the measure of number of deaths in a given population. This mortality rate is also having the different terms. First, it is the crude death rate. In case of crude death rate, the total number of deaths per year per 1,000 people is the crude death rate. As of July 2009, here it is the example given. As of July 2009, the crude death rate for the whole world was about 8.37 per 1,000 per year according to the World Fact Book. म्हणजे 1,000 व्यक्तींच्या पॉप्युलेशन मध्ये 8.37 इंडिव्हिज्युअल्सची डेथ होत होती पर इयर. This is called as the crude death rate. Whereas the prenatal mortality is one of the important concept. Prenatal mortality rate means this is the death of the stillbirths, means before birth of the child, how many offsprings have died. That is called as the prenatal mortality rate per 1,000 birth. How many childs have not taken birth per 1,000 births? This is called as the prenatal mortality or maternal mortality. Look at this figure. Maternal mortality rate means this is the death of the mother. Death of the mother. It is the number of maternal deaths per 1 lakh live births in the same period. म्हणजे पर इयर 1,00,000 मदर्स पैकी किती मदर्सची डेथ झाली, that will be giving you maternal mortality ratio. Or the last one, maternal mortality rate. If this is the rate calculation, then definitely that will be the death of mothers per 1,000 women of reproductive age. Look at this condition. Huh? This should be the reproductive age, means only females within 15 to 45 years of their age. त्या 1000 महिलांपैकी किती महिलांचा मृत्यू होतो, that is called as the maternal mortality rate. म्हणजे 1000 रिप्रोडक्टिव्ह एज मध्ये असलेल्या फिमेल्स मधून जर 10 महिलांची डेथ होते प्रेग्नन्सी मध्ये, देन इट इज कॉल्ड ॲज द 10 individual or 10 deaths per 1,000 women of reproductive age. So that will be the rate of death, or it is called as the mortality, maternal mortality rate. This mortality rate is of infants also. Infant mortality rate is the number of deaths of the children less than 1 year, of course, per 1,000 live births. Child mortality rate is the study of death rate from the individuals of the 5 years old. 5 वर्षांच्या मुलांमध्ये किती डेथ रेट आहे, दॅट इज कॉल्ड ॲज द चाइल्ड मॉर्टॅलिटी रेट. इन्फंट मॉर्टॅलिटी रेटच्या बाबतीत एका वर्षाच्या आतल्या मुलांचा मृत्यू. त्याच्यानंतर स्टँडर्डाइज्ड मॉर्टॅलिटी रेट SMR. दिस रिप्रेझेंट्स प्रपोर्शनल कंपॅरिझन टू द नंबर्स ऑफ डेथ that would have been expected in the population. किती डेथ होऊ शकतात याचा अंदाज बांधणं म्हणजे that is the standardized mortality rate. And age specific mortality. So it will be a particular age group wherein death rate will be calculated. So these are the different mortality rates. In case of this also, as we have seen in the natality, fecundity and fertility, similarly here also there is the minimum mortality rate. In that case that was the maximum birth rate. Here it is the minimum mortality rate, that is called as the physiological longevity. Refers to the theoretical minimum deaths occurring under the ideal conditions. सगळ्या कंडिशन्स सुटेबल होत्या त्याच्यामध्ये डेथ किती होतात, that is called as the minimum mortality rate. And ecological mortality rate is completely dependent on the environmental conditions. So that is the ecological mortality. Let me calculate the birth rate and the death rate. In case of calculation of the birth rate, we need to study the number of born individuals per individual in population per unit time. Say for example, if a population of 500 people or 500 mice produces 100 young by reproduction in a month. एका महिन्यामध्ये 100 नवीन जन्म होतात 500 माइस मध्ये, म्हणजे मदर्स आर 500, न्यूली बॉर्न इंडिव्हिज्युअल्स आर 100 per month. So it will be 100 by 500. It will be 0.20 individuals per month is the birth rate. Okay. Similarly, the death rate. If it is the death of around 80 individuals per 500 individuals of a specific population, then definitely it will be 80 by 500. It comes to 0.16 individuals per month. Okay. So this is the death rate. Now, birth rate and death rate will be giving you the size of population. This is the vital index, which is very important concept. In case of vital index of every population, you will be getting an idea about the normal conditions of the particular area and particular individual. This vital index is nothing but the number of births divided by number of deaths into 100. That will be giving you the vital index. This vital index will decide whether the conditions prevailing in the area are normal or not. If they are not normal, identified by vital index, then definitely some restoration will be advised in that particular area. As the demographic studies in the population are concerned, these are the study of vital statistics in case of the age structure, birth rate, generation time, death rate, or sex ratio, and the survivorship curves. These are the variety of the characteristic features we need to study. Look at this age structure. In case of males and females, there is different एज पिरामिड. पॉप्युलेशन जी आहे त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला एज वाईज मेल आणि फिमेलचा नंबर हा व्हॅरी होताना दिसतो. दिस इज द एज स्ट्रक्चर in case of different countries. See the Nigeria, wherein you will find the absolutely perfect structure, wherein similar number of male and female are maintained. But in case of the Australia or Spain, you will find some of the periods where the number of male and female is not matching. So such kind of situation is giving the difficult conditions to the nation. As far as our India is concerned, in few states there is very less number of females per male are there, and that's why they are having the very different kinds of problems in the marriages. So this is the way in which the study of the populations will be there. Now, in case of the studies of population, we need to study these populations for these three characteristic features. What is the frequency of that population, density of the population, and the abundance. These characteristic features will be studied in detail when we will study the particular community ecology, because in that community ecology these calculations are very important. Right now we will skip this slide. So my dear student friends, these are the patterns of distribution as we have seen in the earlier figures. Uniform distribution wherein regular interval is there for every species, clumped one or random one. So these different ways are there in which the characteristics of the population will be studied. So with this, I think the concepts of the population will be clearer to you, wherein the population studies will giving you an idea about the particular individuals in that particular area and in a specific time period. So these particular populations are under control of few characteristic features or few factors. What are those factors? There are some limiting factors like food and shelter. Secondly, production of the toxic waste by some individuals. Infectious disease in the population is causing the severe control on the population. Predation, stress, emigration, and severe storms and floods, sudden unpredictable severe cold spells, earthquake, volcanoes, or catastrophic meteorite impacts. These are the different factors which are affecting the populations. So these things which we need to study when we are dealing with the population studies. So in the next session, we will deal with the community ecology. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.